For many centuries, the territory of the Great Steppe was marked by peaceful coexistence of many nations, which exercised various religions: Tengrianism, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, and many others. From ancient times and up to present days, the Kazakh land was the connecting bridge between Asia and Europe. It is now the homeland for the representatives of more than 130 nationalities and 40 religious confessions. The harmonious governmental policy, tolerance, coexistence, adherence to the values of peace and coexistence of Kazakhstani people became the strong basis of inter-ethnic and inter-confessional consent prevailing in the country. Based on peace and consent, Kazakhstan has achieved enormous economic, political and social progress. Kazakhstani model of inter-ethnic and interconfessional consent has been recognized by leading international institutions, policymakers, public and religious leaders. Therefore, it was in Astana that the first Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions was organized on the initiative of the President of our country, Nursultan Nazarbayev. Leaders of Islam and Judaism, Orthodox Church and Buddhism, Catholicism and Sintoism have blessed Kazakhstan as the land of peace and consent. Arrangements and preparation for this Congress gave me an idea of building a Palace of Nations in our capital. It will provide space for a mosque, synagogue and Buddhist temple. The Assembly of People of Kazakhstan and all ethnic cultural centers will have their offices there as well. The complex of the Palace of Nations will become a symbol of the unity of all nations of our country. It was already at that time that the world press, when commenting on the outcomes of the Congress, emphasized specifically in their reports the idea of the Kazakhstani leader to create palace where mosque, church and Buddhist temple would be located next to each other. People of various confessions will enter and exit the palace through the same door. This is the symbol of equality of religions, bringing the light of love, kindness and peace to humanity. In 2004, the Administrative Department of the President of Kazakhstan announced the open international consent for the development of the project. The famous architects of Italy, France, England, Germany and Turkey, including corresponding members of the Academy of International Architecture and well-known figures in the area of architecture, participated in the consent, which had 4 rounds. The winner was the project of world-famous British architect Lord Norman Foster, the brightest representative of high-tech style, the master who ravished the whole world by his creatures. The project of Norman Foster is represented by a 4-sided pyramid with the length of the side in the base equal to 60 meters and the height of 77 meters. It was planned to allocate 25,000 meters of usable area on 10 levels of the Palace of Peace. Tubular steel constructions of the pyramid formed the frame of the building, which will be covered by tinted glass and stone. 2 wonders of the world, pyramids and hanging gardens, revived in this project. The form of the pyramid itself has a deep meaning in the history of the humanity and embodies the aspirations of people to the light, harmony and heavenly powers. All the laws of the universe are considered to act upon this geometric scheme, the symbol of friendship and mutual understanding among the people of various nationalities and confessions, the place of dialogue of cultures, religions and civilizations, the reminder about eternal values of the humanity, kindness, peace and consent. This was the idea of Kazakhstani pyramid.
You want me to repeat that? It's unusual in several ways. So I think it's very unusual to combine in one building elements of a congress which meets every 3 years with world religious leaders, but also on other occasions that will be a viewing platform. It's an interesting mixture with culture, with opera, with spaces for museums, for a public space, a gathering space, exhibitions.
The Turkish company Sembol İnşaat has become the prime contractor of the project. The works on the construction of the Palace of Peace and Consent lasted for 13 months. More than 1,000 people worked at one time in the construction of the palace. It is illustrative that people of many nationalities built the palace: Kazakhs, Russians, Turks, Englishmen, Italians, Swiss, Dutch, Hungarians, Chinese, Uzbeks, and Romanians. 4 languages were used in the construction: Kazakh, Russian, Turkish, and English. "15,000 tons of cement were grounded, about 4,000 tons of reinforcing, and more than 50,000 square meters of centering were used during the construction. About 7,000 square meters of granite, almost 3,000 square meters of panel battens, and 1,000 square meters of glass painting were used in the front side of the building." "12,000 square meters of granite, 10,000 square meters of ceramic tiles, and 3,000 square meters of parquet were used inside the palace. The presidential park, with the area of more than 80 hectares, neighbors with the Palace of Peace and Consent.
Пол будет везде одинаковый, да, закрыт? А? Сверху что будет? Стекло тут же уровень?
Да, вот это будет до, вот это от низких стекачки.
The palace under construction drew significant attention of the journalists, the public, inhabitants and guests of Astana. For example, the Prime Minister of Japan, Junichiro Koizumi, has been here shortly before the opening. I wanted to look at this pyramid because I feel that for Kazakhstan it will become a site of global meaning. Being here, I once again was convinced of the large sizes of your country. If you look from the window of the presidential palace, it does not seem as big as it is in reality. Only from this place I can truly evaluate the real scale of the building. I think that with such president as Nursultan Nazarbayev and with his distinguished leadership, Kazakhstan will certainly achieve further progress in economic development and will become the central and leading state in this region. The efforts of the architects, construction workers, all the specialists taking part in the project crystallized in this beautiful palace, which is opening wide its doors today to the inhabitants and guests of Astana, to all the people of goodwill. The palace includes 7 floors, where offices of spiritual confessions, opera theater with 1,500 seats, the Museum of National Culture of Kazakhstan, the University of Civilizations, exhibition halls where masterpieces of painting and sculpture arts will be exhibited, the library where the ancient books will be found side by side with contemporary world literature, research center of world religions will be located. Presidents of neighboring countries, Islam Karimov of Uzbekistan, Kurmanbek Bakiev of Kyrgyzstan, Emomali Rahmonov of Tajikistan, came for the opening of one of the most unique and mighty contemporary architect constructions in Central Asia. During this evening, world-famous architect Norman Foster did not conceal his joy. He could see the implementation of his concept with his own eyes, and the real pyramid came out not worse than the architect model, judging on his spirits.
Өткені, тәуелсіздік алған соң Қазақстан дәл осы пирамиданың іргесінде дүниенің төрт бұрышына бірдей айқара есік ашты.
Opening the new palace, we would like it to become not only the pride of Astana and Kazakhstan, but also the showplace of the whole Central Asia region. In Central Asia, there always have been the direct contact and interpenetration of diverse cultures. Historically, the deep traditions of tolerance and the aspiration towards peace and understanding, the peaceful conflict resolution have developed here. Construction of the Palace of Peace and Consent is the bright implementation of the idea which was suggested on the first Congress of the Leaders of World and Traditional Religions held on September 23rd in Astana and greatly supported by its participants, the leading hierarchs of the world confessions. The biggest religious authorities of the world have gathered for the first time on Kazakh land and supported our initiative on the global dialogue of religions and cultures. The results of this historic meeting have inspired us for building the unique construction which conjures the deep spiritual and cultural symbols.
Ендеше, сіздер мен біздерге ғана емес, қазақстандықтардың әлі талай ұрпағына адал қызмет етуге жаратылған әсем ғимаратымыздың іргесі берік, ғұмыры ұзақ болғай.
It's a great honor to be here today. I'd like to extend our gratitude for allowing us this unique and historic opportunity to create such an important symbol for the city of Astana and the nation of Kazakhstan. On behalf of the team who've created this building, I'd like to say how deeply we appreciate the chance to be part of this global center for religious understanding.
The grand cultural program was timed to the opening of the Palace of Peace and Consent in the capital. The magic voices of the world and national opera stars, Montserrat Caballé, Roberto Alagna and Nurjamal Usimbayeva, were the first to sound in the biggest opera hall in Central Asia, which is located on the first floor of the pyramid. Anastasia Volodchkova danced on the same stage as well. I have to go on tours a lot. I visit different cities abroad, but Kazakhstan is a really special country for me. I always come here with a great pleasure. In addition, this is the homeland of my husband. He was born in Almaty. Your capital, Astana, is changing strikingly. I know how important attention the President of Kazakhstan pays to this city. Even when we drove from the airport, we were shown the new buildings. They are everywhere. There are so many beautiful and magnificent of them. This is my first visit to the capital of Kazakhstan, can be regarded as unordinary, and I will remember this time for long, as I came for the opening of Pyramid of Peace, and this is really a special event. I am the UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, and I hear a lot about Kazakhstan, particularly there, in the headquarters of UNESCO in Paris. And now I will tell myself about my participation in the opening of the Pyramid of Peace. When I heard about this event in Kazakhstan, I agreed to go with no hesitations. You know, I travel a lot around the world, and I do not only sing, but I'm also engaged in the humanitarian projects. And I understand now that I get the greatest enjoyment from it, as nothing can be compared with the understanding that people need you, that you bring values to them when they need it greatly. The opening of the pyramid, it is a good example not only for Eurasia, but for the whole world. I like the new theater very much. It is very modern, and with that it has a proper and very good acoustics. All forms and proportions are sustained in it, and I would like to thank the builders and architects. The new building is the right place for conducting big international forums and is very important considering the growing international significance of Astana. It is turning into the regional center, embodying the idea of Eurasian integration. The second Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions took place here in the middle of September. Muslims and Judaists, Orthodox Christians and Catholics, Buddhists and Krishnaites met at the round table of the Pyramid of Peace. 29 foreign delegations from United States, Vatican, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Great Britain, China, Israel, France and India arrived to Astana. One of the meetings will take place in the hall designed following the fashion of the Hall of United Nations Security Council. It is placed under the vertex of the pyramid, modeled by glass painting in colors of the national flag of Kazakhstan. For centuries, glass painting is a universal symbol of spiritual architecture. The new technology of glass painting developed by artist Brian Clark is used for the first time in the building of similar scope. The first Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions, which took place in Astana in 2003, has sparked off the big public resonance. If 17 foreign delegations have participated in the previous meetings, this time there have been twice as many delegations. 43 religious leaders have gathered at the big round table in the Palace of Peace and Consent. 14 honored foreign guests, in addition to the religious leaders, have participated in the Congress. This is my second visit to Astana, to this very beautiful city. Astana has changed a lot during 3 years. The Congress went with full success. The representatives of various religions have exchanged their ideas on many important issues in detail. We are looking forward for the next meeting in Astana. Kazakhstan is a beautiful country and beautiful people live here. I'm here for the first time, but I feel myself here as at home. The second Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions went at the highest organizational level. We would like to thank the President of Kazakhstan for what your country is doing for all the religions. Due to these similar forums, we, representatives of various religious movements, get to learn and understand each other better. This Congress deserves to be called the big success of Kazakhstan. The Congress helps the representatives of various religions to find the common language and understand each other. And from this area you can The Palace of Peace and Consent is a symbol of our strive towards spiritual heights, a symbol of open and peace-loving Kazakhstan. Let the friendship, consent and mutual understanding exist forever on the face of the world, and let those eternal values shine like rays of light over the world while calling upon humanity for a better future.